Santa Fe. So you're in the high Mesa Desert where it's nice and cool in the summertime.
Nice. Be ready to get out of Arizona.
Yeah, I can't wait till you come up to me and say, you were right about it getting drastically cooler. You're gonna love it, and watch. We'll probably have a massive heat wave, but hopefully not.
We'll bring it with us. We'll just tow it all the way around the country. I mean, that's so funny. Is places that are normally not that hot are some. I mean, look at upstate New York and that. It never gets stupid hot up there, but it was like close to 100 up there, and they were all dying. And I'm going, that's a regular day here, and we have the humidity too.
Yeah, no thanks.
At least in Arizona, it's 110 degrees, but no humidity. It's still hotter than blazes, but at least it's not a wet heat.
Yeah.
And
so,
I'm pretty.
What other questions do you have regarding Mead or Falcon? Is anyone out there sort of fidgeting in their chair? Why haven't you asked them this question? Is there anyone out there that?
Not a lot of fidgeting today, probably just because it is Valentine's Day, and we're still getting people used to the chat, so we don't see too many people in our live chat room yet. That we're slowly building up a listenership there, but I'm seeing
10 participants, but I'm not seeing too many actually talking.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are just listening
and
watching the question. Yeah, speak up, y'all. But one of the things that I know I'd be interested in knowing is, you've got like a gestalt of things going on there. You've got the artisanal products up in the store. You've got the meads. You've got you're working on the ciders. And you've got the food, so where does all this go next? What's the next step for you guys?
Well, New Mexico has some very archaic liquor laws. The liquor licenses are about $475,000. It allows you to sell beer, wine, and all the spirits. And those licenses are all held by a group of five individuals. And there's a whole good old boy network about how you go about getting yourself a liquor license.
That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, when I was first exploring liquor licenses and learning about Mead and this type of license and a beer and wine license for restaurants I have, I was very turned off by this sort of old way of doing things that were very corrupt. And, you kind of try to part ways with these individuals, but you always feel like they left a little something on you after meeting with them.
That sounds like my county commissioner board.
No number of showers will wash it off.
Yeah, you leave the meetings and you're like, ew, that was just slimy.
Yeah, and, sure enough, these people come back and say, just so you know, you're going to have to do this one way or another. And I said, well, again, thank you for your time, but I think I'm going to try something a little different. And they literally will laugh in your face and say, well, you ain't going to last 6 months. And they get very matter-of-fact very quickly. Which, for me, is just pure motivation.
A challenge.
And, what's next for me is, when you really dig into the codes and the different nuances of the bills that have passed that allow, we now have reciprocity with beer makers and winemakers. So people that had a wine tasting room could now sell beer. And people that were selling beer can now sell wine. So we have the reciprocity, which is huge. And the way I look at this license is, I'm really not interested in just opening a tasting room. I'm interested in opening a restaurant that has a beer and wine license for $25 a year. The only limitation is I can only sell New Mexico beer and wine products. But New Mexico is a very prolific beer producing state with a lot of golds, double golds. They definitely have a presence in the industry, in the craft beer industry. They also are good at making ciders. We have, two really solid cider makers. And it's also the oldest wine-producing region in the New World.
Really?
Franciscan monks brought wine to New Mexico, first anywhere. We have the oldest church. We have the oldest house. We are the oldest capital city in the New World. Santa Fe is it's old, man.
Now I'm really excited to come. I love old stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really believe that New Mexico they have some really screwy alcohol laws, but when they passed this new law allowing beer makers to sell wine and winemakers to sell beer, and also they started permitting multiple tap rooms, so you could have your facility where you make beer, wine, cider, or mead. You could have a tasting room there, for people that wanted to come and see the operation and have a taste, maybe buy a bottle and take it home. You were allowed up to 3 tap rooms, off-site tap rooms, which basically meant, you could open these tasting rooms, these off-site tasting rooms, but you weren't limited to just what you made. You could now carry anything else anyone made.
Nice.
So we have 30 beers on tap in the Root Cellar. We even have wine on tap. We have wine in the bottle. We have hard cider. We have growlers. I mean, we have it all. So what's next for me is really kind of flushing out more restaurants, tap rooms, sort of restaurant gastropub, taproom gastropub concepts here within New Mexico. And then as far as making Mead have a presence in all of those. And then, also just scaling up our mead making operation, and then also building an additional facility to make the cider in.
Nice.
Because I don't want to kind of commingle the cider and mead together, but I don't have to, but I can make the mead. I can make the cider in the meadery, the sizer rather, in the meadery, because sizer technically is a mead.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the classification. So I can make mead in the cidery, and I can make cider in my meadery.
Interesting.
I guess, yeah. But I want to separate the two, and once I separate the two, I can get additional off-site permits, and bring more people into the fray, and create partnerships, and work with specifically not your typical type of business partner where they're just into it for the bottom line, but taking on partners like farmers and beekeepers, to do these ventures where we all gain, and it's just doing things a little differently, rather than going the corporate way with banks and your group of lawyers and accountants that want to dip their pen in your company ink, and they don't really offer me anything other than money, and I don't need that much. So if I can partner with beekeepers and farmers, it's a much better deal for everybody.
Yeah, money's kind of a
So-
lousy way to keep score anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't really prove much. But
Yeah.
I suspect you're in for a stampede of people going, so, are you hiring? When people start, the people who are
Yeah.
listening to this now, and then the people that are going to listen to it as they download it, in the intervening days, because we usually get a lot of folks that take us on the road with them,
Well, we are hiring. Definitely in the looking for a mead maker. Someone to apprentice under Dara and help us go to that next level and also working on.
Tony just said he
some
was
of
here
the-
first.
Yeah.
Better
wait
move
till you
now,
see the pay,
Tony.
Tony, you might change your mind.
Yeah. It doesn't cost that much to
Yeah.
live in Santa Fe, right?
No, yeah, it's cheap. It's very, very expensive to live here. So you've got to our bar manager, he speaks 3 languages, Japanese, French, and English.
Wow.
He's got a very heavy Australian accent, but can just full blown start writing and speaking in Japanese, which is kind of odd to see.
Yeah.
And
From
here-
Australia to Japanese is, interesting.
Yeah, and his mother was a intellectual. She was an educator, so he's really smart. Loves to travel, but he lives in his van.
Oh my.
So
Wow.
yeah, he's like, just live in my van. I don't need to pay $2,000 a month in rent. And it's
Tony just said he's going to put his
everything's
stuff in
expensive.
storage and hop a Greyhound. Got a van he can sleep in.
yeah, I know, right? I'm like, no, dude, don't do that.
Is there a spot like behind one of the fermenters or something where you could just throw a sleeping
Plunk
bag or
down.
something?
Night supervisor,
There's
that's
been a
it.
few all-nighters where I'm like, let's see how much mead we can actually make in a day. Yeah, there's hammocks. There's there's pull-out couch.
Oh, there you go.
Trust me. Like I said, Scott speaks Japanese, and he does have lived in Japan and does have some Japanese habits. And one of those is the ability to fall asleep at any time and anywhere.
Oh, hell, I learned that in college. I never learned... I didn't have to go to Japan or learn Japanese for that. That was called college and necessity.
Yeah, well,
I could sleep and have slept leaning up against a wall.
Yeah, they're masters of sleep, man. They can fall asleep anywhere.
I'm not surprised,
Without
given
doubt.
the work ethic that they have. The salarymen,
I know,
they say
I
they
know.
drop dead if they didn't otherwise. I mean, can you imagine us
Yeah.
having pods like they've got there to sleep in for the people that can't afford to go back to home during the week and they just stay in the city and work all week and sleep in pods?
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, no. My claustrophobia get the better of me, I think. But
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, to do a co-branded mead with you guys is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And, I'm really excited to hit the farmer's market and just, kind of make this thing on the fly. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, lots of eye candy out here. The time you're coming, the full bounty of the harvest of the Southwest will be, in full bloom, literally, and it's just, it's a world-class farmers market here. It's one of the top 10 farmers markets in the country, so
Nice.
it's a blast. It's not massive, but it's super high quality. So yeah, you're going to be spending $3 a pound for a carrot, but
Yeah.
you can say you bought it at the Santa Fe Farmers Market.
Yeah. Take it in my trailer all the way back to Louisiana or something.
Right.
Yeah, this is my Santa Fe carrot. This one here is my California carrot.
Yeah. So, I think I answered the question of, what's next, and that
Yeah,
is,
you did.
I think anytime you mention mead, it's not a question of how big you are; it's how small you are. But when I lived in Hawaii, my next door neighbor was next to our kitchen was a craft brewer called Kona Brewing Company, and I've known
Heard
Matt